Thank you so much for joining today, and sit back and relax. You're going to enjoy a great segment of learning how to paint watercolors and oils today. And I am a lover of Long Island, and so that's what we're going to be featuring today. And if you're a beginner or intermediate or advanced, you'll love the program. It's going to be great for you. So welcome. Again, I'm Lisa, FazioArtist.com. You can follow me on any social media platform, and on my website, you can sign up for emails. Okay, so let's begin. So for me, it's about the love of the landscape. I find there's many inspirational places all over Long Island that you could visit. You could go to any of Old Westbury Gardens, planting fields, or even the beach. So if that's you and you're like, well, I have some time on my hands, I would love to really learn how to relax, the first thing to do is to pick up a sketchbook. So people get very intimidated. They think, oh, I can only draw a stick figure. If you can write your name, you can begin, okay? You could start with writing. You could start with collecting photographs of the area that you fall in love with. So for me, it's picking up a really gorgeous sketchbook. So if you've watched me in the past here at the studio, I have shown various sketchbooks that I've had over the years. But for today, I'm going to just show you my most favorite one and how I create a painting from the sketchbook. So in the beginning, you go to the store and you pick up what you really like. And this is a moleskin. It has watercolor paper inside and a little pocket on the back that you can supply. You can pick this up at Blick's Art Supply Store, which is here in Long Island. And you could also pick it up on, I think it's cheapjoe.com. It also features a couple of different sketchbooks. So here I'm just going to give you a little peek of what it is that I like to do in my sketchbook. One thing about a sketchbook is it is personal. It is for you. In the book, it doesn't come out, it's binded. So if the pages are messed up, it's okay. It's all about for you, right? I'm not going to take it out. First thing first, you always make sure that you have your name inside, a contact number, because you'll really be unhappy if you lose your book. This is kind of a large one. If I travel overseas, I'll have one that's half the size, but this one is just featuring Long Island. So here you begin. What do you paint? Well, I go on location and I just start sketching. So here it is. This is an ink sketch. I decided to do a little calligraphy. This is Cedarmere, one of my favorite places to paint. And I just gradually do it over time. There's no rush. Just as in life, if there's something I enjoy, I don't want to rush, right? Sometimes I will do some of the painting on location and then I'll bring it back into the studio. Why is that? Because this one is watercolor and it might be too windy there. There might be elements of ease and such, or the lighting is too much. So you can start your inspiration here on site, right? And just then bring it back into the studio. What else? The other thing I do is I love to pick up pen and ink. So this is a pen and ink pen that you dip in and do refill every session that you have. It's a little messy. You have to make sure that you bring wipes. These are the ones I recommend, the wet ones, like this, because the ink is going to get all over you. So I will sketch maybe in pencil first and then ink second. Here shows you a little photograph on location. Again, I like to really just pick and choose what I see there. The styles, what do you put on the page? Well, I just decided to sketch in the mansion here. This is Old Westbury Gardens, and then do a highlight of the lilacs, which is my favorite time of the year, and then do some calligraphy here. So there's no one way or wrong way to do anything. This one is all in one color. This is a sepia tone. Here's a photograph of a location as well, just again to give you an idea. How long do these take? I might go back each year and just do a highlight of one flower and then go back. This is planting fields. You can see the flowers and also the time of the year. So I'll look at this sketchbook and say to myself, this is a fall sketch because these flowers are the dahlias and they don't exist in the spring. So I like to recognize the different times of the season around here on Long Island. And there's so many beautiful places you can visit. They have websites in which they can tell you what is in bloom at when, and then you can go there and photograph it. Again, taking your camera, even taking your iPhone and using that as a form of art as well. But I like to sketch everything. This one took me 3 years because every time I went to the Dahlia Garden out east, it was so big and massive. I wanted to get a walk-in. Then I wanted to get a photography session in that I only had a little bit of time to actually do any painting. It's always so graciously waiting for you. You don't have to feel a need to finish things. Like here's this one. This one is, where is this? Oh, again, this is planting fields. I started this last year. I decided to do it in this type of layout because I thought it was more interesting, but I didn't do the writing until later. Again, you might get the words first, you might get the images first. This I'm going to do a little demo. And then this one is a painting that I have here, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So this kind of gives you an idea, right? But the last one I wanted to really show you, but well, I'll show you later. So the sketchbook, what do you take with you? So you're going to take just a sketchbook. I'm going to do a demo. I'm going to make sure I do a little demo on both, working on the sketchbook and on the easel, so you see. So this is just like a little travel palette. I have other ones. This is just really great for demoing, showing you live. The paints are already dry. So everybody's like, ew, what is that? It's like dry paint. You can make a little color swatch here to see what colors these are here, because when they're dark, you really can't tell. This comes with this little brush. This is not a traditional brush that you would paint as a full-time artist, but these are great for traveling on an airplane. I've met some people along the way during my travels that had like a houseboat. If you don't have a lot of stuff, you're a minimalist, this is a perfect way to do it. You carry a little bit of water in here. TSA is not going to be giving you grief that you have a little bit of water. Tell them you spit in the bottle, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, you go like this and you just press the water out and voila. So in fact, while I'm doing that, I might as well demo. You're just reconstituting it, which means you're just re-wetting it. And I'll just show you how I work it. So I've already done my sketch. And I'm just coming in here with a little bit more color. So with watercolor, it always dries a little bit lighter. And it's all about layering. And this is a pink house. If you've gone to planting fields, you know the pink house. Everybody knows this little house. And all I have to do is go back in. Let's see, what do we have? Green. And I'm touching more than one green color. Isn't that cool? It's one brush, and it has all the colors that you need on it. And you just layer it on. I know you're not really seeing what I'm touching in the palette here, but I'm now choosing a darker green. Well, you can see that. So you're like, well, what do you like? First of all, I would usually do not paint watercolor upright like this, but there's a fan on, and so I know it will dry. Adding in a little detail. See that? If you come in close, you'll see the little bit of the detail. You're not coming in close. Okay. Here's the ink. Let me show you how that works. So this is you picking out what it is that you want to paint in the location. So first you go shopping, you look for your shapes, you look for something that interests you, and then you pull out your palette and you begin to sketch. Here's your sketchbook and your palette, yes, together. So here's the ink portion. It has about, I guess, 2 days worth of ink. I've already put in some pencil lines, so you're going to ask me, what do you put in first? The chicken or the egg passing the house, right? Which one goes first? Well, you can either do the pencil sketch, you can do the ink first, the watercolor, and this incident of mixed media, they call this, it doesn't really matter. For me, it doesn't matter. I mean, other people probably have more of a... Now, I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. I don't recall exactly where the shadows are, but this shows you how this technique is done. I'm putting in the little strokes here to say tree. Not crazy of me to be painting and drawing upside down, but this is what I'm doing for you guys today. So this is about you getting a feeling of what the location says to you. And the windows might be darkened a little bit. Come in here. Yes, with ink, if you make a mistake, you are married to that shape. Absolutely. That is part of what happens with ink. But just as in watercolor, you have to adjust to what's happening. Unlike oil, when you put it down, which I'm going to do the second half. Here I am, I'm outlining the windows. There's a woman here that had showed up briefly. And I'm just making her in there again. She doesn't know that she's going to be in my sketchbook forever. come in here with the line. For this particular pen, if you come in hard and soft, you will get different lines. So I can come in here with this kind of technique here, shadowing maybe one side. So as I'm using it, can you see how I'm squinting because I'm looking at the darks that I'm making in the painting as I'm working, besides the fact that it's dancing away on my body here. I'll change the pen stroke. I'm coming in here with some dots. Come in here with some lines, some cross-hatching. So how much or how little? So see in this sketch here, I've distributed the darks and lights of the ink throughout the entire painting, see? Well, just as you get dressed in the morning, you decide how many layers you're going to put on, right? So this is the same thing. I'll decide how many layers of this dark ink I want to put on here. And that's what you'll decide as well. Come in here with little doodads, little circle things. It just tells me the story of a nice spring day. And as you keep going, it adds a beautiful, rich texture. I will go back in and do the calligraphy much slower and on a flat surface, not upside down. Let's see. So that's the ink. Let me show you the other part of the watercolor. So the watercolor, oops, don't fall on me. The watercolor would be, so I've already added a layer of light blue here. So if I add another one, it's going to just highlight it. So it's all about the rich tones, right? Can you see it if I turn it this way? Okay, there you go. I have an oil bucket here. I'm making sure I don't dip into that. That's hysterical. So I will do mostly, okay, that's a good question. Do you do watercolor or oil on location? It depends on how much time I have. It depends on the type of day. If it's really, really hot, if it's really windy, I might pick something a little bit easier. How about I just go to the location and just take photographs? So it's just all about you getting outside and having fun, okay? Don't give yourself so many rules. You're not going to get out. It's not a perfect day. I don't have the right brush, blah, blah, blah. Just get out. So how do you know where to go to? Well, here in Long Island, we have a lot of botanical gardens all over, and a lot of them will have on their website what's in bloom. So even if you put in the Google, what's in bloom on Long Island, it will show up. Besides your other social media platforms that also will have people who will be photographing where they have been. And then you'll say, oh, wow, that's what's in bloom now. Sometimes us artists, we tell each other, hey, I was at Plenningfields and it's amazing there. I was at Clark Gardens. I was here. Brooklyn Botanical Garden has a beautiful display of tulips on display now. You know, what happens is with weather each year, the same thing may not be in bloom exactly on this day every year, right? Because we have all of a sudden a rainstorm or a windstorm. One year we had ice and all the magnolia trees were in bloom and then they all froze. It was so sad. Us artists don't like that. Look how beautiful that's coming out. See how the dark, rich purples are really just popping out there? So I'm just coming in with more layers of beautiful, rich purple here. I just want to kind of really pop this out for you. There you go. Now you can see it. I think what I'd like to do, so I'm squinting my eyes because I always make the joke every year. I say to you that I love Botox and I want to have more wrinkles, but the squinting of the eyes gives me the ability to see things in value. I studied at Parsons School of Design, and I studied black and white theory for 2 years. I didn't study color till later because I'm all about the drama, all about the value change. Now, in this one, a lot of artists will say, well, where's the light coming from? I don't really remember. So I'm really more about, in this particular painting, about the design. Other paintings I'll show you in here, I did have a whole drama of light. But you do know that there's going to be a shadow underneath the roof there. So that does exist. Let's go in with that green. I'll show you how I would put in the green. So I'm squeezing the water out onto the palette, which I'm just going to show you, so that I'll put that down for a second. So I'm mixing my colors here on the palette. And I'm reconstituting them by touching here. So I will start with the yellow. You always start with the lightest color first. That's how come my palette stays clean. I'll wipe it here on the sponge, and then I'll bring in the blue. And then this is how I make my homemade green. Okay, so now I've made my green. And it does come with a little, I'll show you the whole thing. It's adorable. It comes with this little palette. Look how cute is this? This little mixer here. And you can get a little piece of paper here, and this is your whole to-go setup. How cute is that? It even has a little holder in the back. So if you really, really want to minimize that, you can carry with you. But for today's demo, I'm just showing. Sorry for the screeching. Okay, let's go back to this, put this up.
Lisa, where do you get all your paints?
But where do I get all my paints from? This particular one I probably got on Amazon. But you can get it at Jerry's Autorama. You can get it at Blick Art Supplies on Glen Cove Road. They have this palette. Yeah, that's what happens is, as you paint with other artists, you start shopping through their stuff. You're like, oh, I like that so much. So this is an easy one to get. Don't let it hold you back. Just get out. I've ever gone on vacation and didn't have anything with me and asked the waitress to just give me their pen, and then you say, where's the pad, because not every time you go somewhere do you have everything you need. So everybody has a phone, so you could start with your phone and start getting ideas that way. Okay, so here's just coming in with this color a little bit. Okay, so I'm noticing that the green has come into my bark. Don't get all crazy. It's kind of cool that you have this blending of colors. Oh, and Lisa forgot to do, so here's your wiping off. Oh, paper towels. Oh, my goodness. So I have this thing. My girls always laugh. My two daughters laugh when I go somewhere to the bathroom. If they have really good paper towels, you'll see me walking out with them. It's pretty bad. But these are truly the best paper towels you get at Home Depot. They're the ones you use for painting and such. They're super thick. And what's cool about watercolor is you could keep blotting it, and you could just use it again. You know what I'm saying? You don't care that it's a colored cloth. So this is the coloring in here. So that gives you kind of a general, I'm just going to pull this color down, and then I will show you what the next step is, what I'm going to do, which is the other painting behind me. Just wanted to show you the watercolor part. So this has a little, now you can go over the other color. See people like, oh, what do you do with the white spaces? You can go over, it's transparent. I think that gives you a better idea of how I got to that space. I do have this little piece of paper here. This is also for you to maybe take your pen and double check that it's clean, or check, or do some color checking. Is this the color I want? You would just touch it there. What else can I show you? So I said that I get inspiration from everywhere on Long Island. So let me show you. This is a sketch that is of planting fields. They have a beautiful, it's not a lavender garden, it's all these purple flowers that show up. And it's my most favorite time of the year to go. I think it's in June, and all the brides and grooms all show up and they walk down this path. So this is a quick sketch. I'm going to leave it exactly like this in my sketchbook. Why? Because some things are perfect to leave unspoken so I can use my imagination as to how it should be finished. So if you come over to this easel, this is my interpretation of this in an oil. Which way should I do this? I'll do it like this. Can you see both? Is it hard for you to show it in the camera? So this is really lightly drawn. And like I said, it just has the feelings of the garden, right? And it shows this lavender-looking field. It shows the distant trees. This is done in oil. And this is through many sittings of doing this. I was really happy that I wanted to have the time of the day. So this is when we were talking about the lighting. Where is the sun? The sun is sort of behind here and it's casting a shadow. And so I portrayed that in my sketch. And then I did paint this on location. I took this big canvas with me with my oils, and the day was ending and they needed to close. So they weren't going to allow me to finish. So I went, okay, took as many photographs as I could, and then I went back to the studio to finish. But this is how your sketchbook helps you get to where you want to do a painting. And I'll do more than one, and that's why I've left it this unfinished place. So the other one I wanted to show you was going through all of these, is this one. And that's this painting. So this is now, we are now at Old Westbury Gardens. Where am I looking? So this is not this. So it's a little bit different. Here, got it. This one I just did kind of a vignette of different, so this is ink. I wanted to show the 3 different ways I like to work, which is in ink. This is watercolor, and this is ink and watercolor. Often I'll get a lot of commission work to do of people's painting their special places, and I get to interpret the way I want it to, or the client will suggest to me, I like this medium only. So this shows you ink, watercolor, pen and ink, and now here behind me in oils. It all says Old Westbury Gardens. The other thing too is they're not in proportion, right? They're just vignettes. It still says Old Westbury Gardens. This one here, I love this one. I just finished this one off. Has what everybody loves about Old Westbury Gardens, which is the fountain. The entrance has that beautiful brick facade, and then it has this trestle here, which beautiful wisteria grows on it. The trick to this is picking the timing of what time of the year you're going to go paint there. There's so much to see. So right now, all the tulips are up. I just went there. I go there frequently. Again, you go on their website. It will tell you what's in bloom. This one was towards June, I believe, that I painted this. And also, they also plant different things throughout the year as well. So it's never always going to be the same. And again, we talked about weather changing the landscape as well. So here it is. Again, here's that cast shadow that I really love to put in here. And I wanted sort of it to tell a story. When you look at it, it has a lot of things going on, but art is about traveling your eye from left to right. It's sort of like reading, but it's with your eyes. It's kind of eye candy. So here you're looking at the detail of the trellis, and then you're moving maybe here to the light, and then back here around to the fountain, and then coming back around again. And every time I look at it, I have a little bit of a favorite spot. I don't know about you, but I really love that. So now I'm going to move on to doing an oil demonstration over here. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to move my watercolor away and bring in some oils. So this one I did sketch ahead of time. This is the photo, what it looks like. I'm over here. No. So here's the photo. I'll just do it like this, I think. Yeah, for now. So here's the photograph. I blew it up nice and big so everybody could see it. I made it into a square. They have different platforms. One thing that's really cool about what we have now, years ago we didn't have this, there's all these apps that you can use. So in this app, it allowed me to make it into a square. And then I made it the exact size of this. I don't normally do that, but for today's demo, I decided to do that. Okay. So this is a square, again, same location, different time of the year. Notice the flowers are totally different, which is what I find really cool. It's got a changing landscape, and it's not really a sunny day. So I'm going to kind of interpret where that light is that we were talking about. I pre-sketched it out. I do like to put a light coat of acrylic paint on. This one happens to be a board. That's my process. And the other thing I did just for, again, demo reasons, just to show you, is they have all kinds of apps, again, like I said, you could use, and you could pre-sketch it so that I could move things around a little bit different than the photographs. Why would I do that? Because maybe I want to have more drama. So here, if you notice, there's more volumes here. So you have these little circles. I decided to change it a little bit. And then when I transferred it, I changed it one more time. That's sort of artistic license. You can do whatever you want. It's your painting. If I wanted to be exactly like the photographs, I would have just kept it as a photograph, right? So it's all about your interpretation. One thing I love about doing that with clients as well is they want the essence, the feeling of it. And that's what art does. It gives you the feeling of it, right? Oh, this wind really likes me. Move this here. Okay, so how am I going to begin this? Let me talk to you about how that's going to start. Let's see if that cooperates and stays up there. So what am I taking on an oil venture outside? I am taking with me a hat, suntan lotion, most likely an umbrella, because if it's really, really sunny, I don't want to be getting burned, and I would like maybe to myself and my art to be in a shadow. I'm going to take with me a palette. So they have things that attach to your easel that you can put your palette here, you can put your umbrella here, and then you always carry with you a little garbage bag because you're always going to have scraps because it's extremely messy, and your brushes, of course, and your turp. So my turp might be here. I'll have something to hold it up. A funny story I can tell you is last year I was painting at Long Beach on the actual beach, and I'm all excited because I have all my painting, and then the wind came and whoop, and went right on my chest. Oops, sorry for that noise. And it went right on my chest. It was terrible. But it was cool because when it all fell on the floor, the actual painting had all the sand from Long Beach on the artwork. And some people thought that was great and bought it. They said it was truly authentic. You have to learn to go with the flow. You're going to have bees following you. You're going to have bugs. You have to bring bug spray, okay? And you have to kind of just go with the flow. And again, it's all about being inspired, having fun, enjoying the elements. If there's a bunch of noisy kids around or blah, 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 walking, you have to just go with that. One time I'm painting some beautiful landscape, and people decided to go in the water and play catch with the dog. That's what it is. Okay, so going back to this. So I have already put my paints in already. Basically, I've picked predominantly 8 colors. You have like basic colors. I won't go into that exactly what colors they are, but I just pre-put the colors in. I always carry with me a few brushes. So today I only brought a couple. I'm usually a flat brush painter. They look like this. A palette for mixing. Always paper towels, like I said to you, and my turp. That's all I have. I made it very simple for today. And that's usually what you want to do when you're on location. So I get into position. All right, so we did our sketch first. So what's the first thing that I'm going to do? Well, it's nice to start from top to bottom. So I guess I'm going to do that. A lot of watercolorists will do that as well. Maybe that's one of my things. So I'm going to come in here and interpret what I think the sky is going to be. So I'm dipping into a beautiful sky blue. And I'm just going back and forth here. How long is this going to take to dry? Depending upon how thick or thin I put the paint, it would take about a week. It's a little tricky when you're on location and you're moving a painting that's super wet. They have boxes in which you can use depending upon the size art that you have. There's a great product called Dawn dishwashing liquid, right? And those poor animals that get oil on them, how do you think they get it off? They use good old Dawn. Well, that's what I use when I get it on myself. You can carry it with you, or when you get home, if you get that oil on yourself, you just use that Dawn. That stuff gets everything out. So I'm just applying some color here. Again, I'm not really following exactly what the photograph says. I'm just kind of interpreting this. I put in my dark blue. So lighting. When you're on location, just as here as I am in the studio, the lighting is not going to be the same. So I might change it once I get back to the studio and realize I wasn't bold enough. I'm just using my flat brush now, coming in with just pure white and just dancing the color across. You can follow plenty of YouTube videos on how to apply. Everybody has a different technique, but for the most part, they call this scumbling, where we're just putting in a very light coat of color. And then maybe you might want to add the drama later. I am a watercolorist as well, so sometimes I like to leave the color that's underneath, and I might do this. Just me. You're going to make up whatever you want. I have a friend of mine that she paints her whole painting with just the paper towel. And it's amazing. And you wouldn't know that when you look at it at the end of the day. So again, I'm squinting my eyes just to see what the color blending looks like and then wiping off as I go along. So in order to keep the colors clean, you need to keep wiping. Hence the reason for having a lot of white. I'm coming in with some green. Now, I want to keep my colors clean. One, because I only brought what I had needed on my palette here. And two, if I keep dipping into, let's say, the yellow and adding my green to it, it's not going to be yellow anymore, right? So now I'm going to make a yellowish green. I decided I'm going to come in here. So it looks like from the photograph that it's a very green painting. Yeah, but I'm not going to make it that. I'm going to make it colorful. So I'm just thinking in my head, what places do I want to have this highlight of bright green or greenish yellow? And one thing really cool about oils is you can change it. It doesn't matter. See, with watercolor, you kind of married to that color when you put it on, unless you're going to use some type of white element to go in or collage over it. But with oils, a little more forgiving. And that's why people are like, I like oils only. Well, there's pluses and minuses. It's messy, you know, and there is somewhat of an odor. Sometimes people feel that they're affected by the odor. So I've already gone in from yellow to this green color. Again, I'm loving squinting. And I'm just coming in darks and lights here. Hello, goodbye. It's fine. Hey, you know what? If I didn't show you that I know how to work with things as I go along, are you kidding? I can tell you the craziest thing that happened to me painting on location is having people sit in my chair when I get up to wash my hands and they think they're going to be the artist. So I have to learn how to just go with the flow. I already know what the painting looks like. It's fine. Look, was I even bothered? It didn't even bother me. So I have some of this sketching in here that I've done with my oils. I might just leave that in. I may not. I want to make sure that it says the story that I want. And I actually was going to toss the picture. So maybe Spirit did that ahead of time. Because you want to make it what it is that you want it to be, right? So here I'm going to come in with some darks only because I want to show you where I want to lead your eye. I can't ask you how it's looking just yet. I will though, Eric. I ask you how it's looking. I'm not up to there yet. Because this is the beginning stage. This is sort of like putting half your makeup on and asking someone, how does it look? It's just not there yet. And I'm going to see how much I can paint in my 29 minutes left. So it's all good. And it's not even, you know, I'll fix it more when I get back to my studio. But I just want to give you an idea of how cool is this green just coming in and bringing your eye in. Because art is about entertainment, right? I'm the entertainer and the paint is here. Yeah. So what about the paint? So you have different grades of paint, professional grade and student grade. It's really what you can afford, but I do agree that you do have to have decent paints and decent brushes. How do you care for them? Well, you wash them with Dawn. Dawn is just everywhere. I was asking somebody the other day, how does soap powder get named after a woman? I don't even know. Somebody has to look the history of that up. And that product is great. We wash our brushes out with that or Murphy's Oil soap. Let me just get these in. And then you can wash it with baby oil to kind of keep them soft and limber. So again, I'm squinting my eyes to figure out where I want the focus to be, but I wanted this dark parade of color. I'm wiping the brush off. So I'm not using my terp to swish it around. You're not hearing that noise. You're just using the brush, the paper towel to wipe it off. Besides the fact that I want terp all over myself, it ruins your brushes and it's about clean color. I like that already. So again, I'm squinting my eyes just because I love to have that. I'm going to try to do this path for you. Let's see how good I can do so much here. So I've gotten my establish of my darks. I am going to, get my photograph that just fell. Let's see how long she stays up again. Or he stays up again. Ha ha ha. Yeah, so the other dark that I see here is in here. So I'd like to put that in now. The blue that I put in the background is really sort of the mid-tone, right? So it looks like it's a reddish brown. Again, you're the artist. You get to pick whatever you want it to be. What do I want you to be? Well, if I pick a warm tone, which is over here, it's going to pull it forward. So let me just put this color because I already just painted it. And I don't really see that anywhere else. And I want to just put this darkish red. So here's the red. I've already made it. It's going to fly off again, I know. I'm interpreting this. So now I'm just mixing like a blue into the brown. It's hard because you can't really see what I'm doing because I can't put the palette up for you to see what I'm mixing. I mix this dark brown, and then I'm going to put in, I don't like to make my darks have just black in it or anything, so I like to throw in a little, whoops, too much of surprise on that. This is like maybe a rose color, because it's all about just value change, right, which is darks and lights. There's some darks here, switching and changing it. And again, the great thing about oil, if I don't like it, I can just wipe it off. Maybe I can take my oil and drag it down now. So this is a brush that just has terp on it. I do like that. You can do this sort of technique in watercolor as well, but in oils, it's a little bit different. I like that. So I like it because it almost looks purple because of the blue that I have in the background. Yeah, I am liking it. You should have a conversation with your artwork. You should like it. You know, I want you just to have fun, okay? If you take out your little sketchbook, go and do that. You want to just take out a book and start drawing and writing, go do that. Just get out. It's so beautiful this time of the year. We just came out of winter, and if not, you'll find somewhere that's sort of like winter. And if you can't get out, there's so many photographs on the internet. Years ago, you would be saving photographs from ads of seed stores and such because you were in so desperate need of a good picture of a rose or something. You have the internet now. Everybody's sharing their photos. And, oh, is that legally okay? Yeah, well, you know, if you are altering the painting enough, a lot of artists will say you need to give the rights. You can ask permission to the photographer. May I use this to paint from? I have people often ask me that on my platforms. Do you mind if I paint from this? And I don't have a problem with that. But it's nice when someone asks. And it's a compliment. But these are photographs that I've taken. I think I'm going to make that evergreen a little darker because if it's too light, it's going to come too forward. And I don't want to make it too dark. I usually like to make things, I'll show you, in a purple for the background. But let me not go too far with that. What am I up to next? Let's do the path. I just want to put in, I'm just staining the board. So a lot of this is about relationships to each other, right? So when you get changed in the morning, you're like, oh, I'm going to put my jeans on. What should I put with that? Well, you've got to put the jeans on first, right? And then you're going to know what you're going to put with the shirt, right? Well, I don't know what jewelry am I going to put with that. I'm not sure. We'll put the shirt on and the pants, and then you'll figure it out. So everything is a relationship to each other, right? So I'm going to put this gray tone in. Probably going to add a little lavender to it just to make it prettier. And then I'm going to add in a little bit lighter brown color. The forgetting the name of this color, but it's a light ochre. Thank you, Lisa. Yellow ochre. To say, indicating perhaps that's the sunlight coming over. You don't want all the dashes to be the same. And you don't want everybody to know what brush you used either. So you don't want it to be the, oops. Aha, I got you before you left. Okay. Let's put in Squinting my eyes again. I wanted to put in a dark background here. All right, so let's go with, let's do the blue. Everybody's dying to see what that looks like. So this trellis is what Old Westbury is known for. Everybody goes and takes pictures of the wisteria, and they have beautiful, locust flowers there. Oh my God, lotus flowers there, beautiful. So I want to make sure I remember which is dark and which is light. Okay. So I've already drawn in the dark shadows. So I'm squinting my eyes to make sure the value is right. I think I want it to be a little lighter. Let's see, Lisa. See, everything is according to what it's next to. We just step back. Well, hello. I can see what color. Yep, same color. Yeah, so everything is in relationship to each other. So when you go shopping for, let's say, picking up paint for your room, you need to look at the colors during the daytime and during the nighttime. So like I said to you, I will look at this when I get back in the studio and see if I'm okay with this. This looks pretty. This greenish turquoise color, which is what, again, everybody loves. And I'm just dabbing it in because this is sort of my style. You do whatever you want, but this is my interpretation of what it looks like. And so it's going to start to come alive as we paint along. So the whole concept was to show you. Do I need to move this? So there we go. So it's a little flatter. There you go. So it's not on an angle. This thing is going to fly off on me. Is this better, Mike? Yeah. Yeah. Because otherwise you're seeing it from the side. That's annoying.
That reverse and probably gets it.
This is okay, right? Yeah. Because otherwise you can't see anything. It's too much of an angle. There we go. It's all right that you're seeing the back of my head. I don't care. All right, let's see. I'm going to make sure we carry the color across. So what are some of the struggles that you have with painting outside? One is the weather. So they have really great weather apps. Weather Underground is my favorite one. A science teacher told me about it. It tells you what the weather is going to be within 15 minutes. So why does that matter as an artist? Well, the lighting is going to change. So I want to know if the morning is going to have the sun. I want to see the sun. So hello, get out and see it. Or if that cloud over there in the distance is going to be piling some rain on me. You know how fast I'm going to have to run if I'm on location and I'm just poured all my paints? So make sure you go out with knowing what the weather is. The other thing is you're always going to be a little hungry. Don't go on location and then say, oh, I ate one grape. Hello, you're going to be tired. You have to walk all the way to the car. There might be something chatting with somebody, and then time has gone on. Always bring something with you, and water, of course. Always got to make sure you're hydrated. Make sure you have something to eat, even if it's just a snack bar. A chair. I do carry a chair with me. I like to have lunch sometimes there. Why not? I mean, it's not just about the painting, right? It's about enjoying the environment and feeling all of the essence of it. So yeah, I bring a chair. If not, you can find where there might be a bench. In Old Westbury Garden, they have a wonderful cafe there that's delicious. And the first weekend of June, I'll be there painting with my fellow painting friends, and we'll take a break at 1 o'clock and chat with each other and then go back to work. I mean, this is work for us. It's enjoyable. There's a whole artist struggle that goes along with it. And it's rewarding when you feel at the end of the day that you're enjoying it. So now I'm changing the color of the trellis to be a little bit darker in certain spots. I already pre-mixed the color. I'm liking that. I'm hitting happy to myself. This looks good to me. I want to just have it this sort of sketchbooky kind of look. It's what I like now. I have a finished one when I'm done. I can show you when I'm done, but this is sort of the technique I like. I like that. High five to me. I think that's coming out nice. Again, this is only the first layer. What am I doing with time? What are the things? I'm making sure. So a lot of other things that beginners struggle with is the perfectionism part. I wanted to go in here with the purple because everybody wants to see how I do the aluminums. It's about you, right? And the person, it's about you and the relationship of your artwork and how you feel when you're painting, right? Do you think you're doing a good job? I will have my students come over and go, how does this look? Is it good? Well, I mean, I'll be honest and say if it's not good or not, but you have to find good in everything, right? Try to find, I've learned this, even with yourself. If you're going to constantly pick on yourself, then you're not even going to want to do it again, right? So try to find the things that are good in it. And try to find the good in the fact that you got up and you attempted to go and paint. Maybe you got really good photos that day. I can tell you as a photographer, I can beat myself up that, I missed that great photo, or, today I didn't, the thing with artists, where do we go first? It's so beautiful out. Oh, I should have went to the Old Westbury today. They said that the blah, blah, blah was in bloom. And then you can't do that. Cannot beat yourself up. So here I'm putting the shadow color underneath the aluminums. How cool is this? Oh, I love it. And I've painted this a lot of different times, but never the same each time. Never the same each time. Another good question people will ask me, which ones do you keep for yourself? The ones that I love. And then when I'm ready, I'll let them go. Usually let's say this one might become my favorite for the week. And then I'll let it go. That's going to be not fun, isn't it? I don't know if the studio lights are kind of altering it too much, making it sort of psychedelic. When I came in, I had pink all over my, pink lights on my face. So I don't know if the colors of the studio are changing it, but I'm pleased with this. It has sort of a nice watercolor feel, doesn't it? That's sort of what my forte is, yeah. So I would say that, like I said, the beginner problems would be is not leaving enough time, not bringing a snack. And you have to forgive yourself. You're going to forget something. You have to go with the flow and just laugh at yourself and say, oh, well, all right, that didn't work out. Or I had to that was a bad painting day. I had to paint that thing all over again. And then a lot of times you're just very critical of yourself. So now I'm going to come in with some darker purples because I think that's what it needs. You'll say, I really don't like this. I was teaching a class once and I came in, said hello to the students. And this woman says to me, I don't like what I did. I did some work at home. Can you help me? And I'm like, sure. I'm going to go sign in. So I go to sign in. I come back and she had ripped her paper in half. Why did you do that? She goes, well, I was struggling so much I couldn't stand it. And it was like, I went there and I sat and I made the changes. I taped it together and I told her, this is what I would have suggested. She goes, what am I going to do now? I'm like, from now on, you and your artwork cannot be left alone. Cannot be trusted. So be kind to yourself. Sometimes you just need a day to let it sit. I call it, let the painting paint itself for a little bit. Maybe that following day, you'll be a little bit kinder to yourself. So I wanted to show that sort of merging. I want to make sure that I don't get muddy. So I'm going to pull this color off because it was a wrong choice. In watercolor, you can do the same thing. This kind of like blotting is fine. But here I'm taking some turp and I just took it off. Boom, done. I'll put something else there. It was getting too muddy. I was trying to add in the green. Let's add in the light purple to that spot so I don't have to look at it anymore. There we go. All right. Also important is to step back and look at your work. That's why we work on an easel. Some people, okay, I do not like all that green now. It is a lot of green. Well, that time of the year that I took the photograph was very green in that spot, but that's not how I'm going to make it. Now I'm going to come in with my dark greens here. And then I'm going to put flowers on top. So you don't want to be too critical of yourself, okay? First time you're going out. I mean, that's the biggest thing, too, is just adjusting. And then you can always paint over it, right? And for the watercolor, you can always collage it, turn it into a collage. Now, the colors should be fading out a little bit as I go back. They have a little more purplish tones to them. So I want to make sure that I fade. Everything can't be this bright pink, bright value colors, right? Because when you look at a painting, it has this gradation. And in order to do that, you have to kind of dull the color a little bit. Kind of gives you the feeling of space. That is a hideous color, Lisa. I'm trying to not touch everything on my palette here. I wanted to just, all right, touch that later. Make sure I don't turn my easel off. All right, so now I'm just blending this. This yellow was just too bright. Now I'm just toning it down. So my idea here is, oh, watch my time. I'll paint for a little bit longer and then I'll show you the finished painting. Is to just get the colors on here. Let's see, what are the things, other tips I want to make sure? Well, one of the things I wrote on my note is how not to be bored. Changing the location, changing the medium, and how about joining some organizations or taking a class? I have a group that I take out all the time. We do a meetup, LisaFazioArtist.com, so you can come meet up with us, or I paint in my studio. I do a wet and wild series, I call it, and we're painting in watercolors because you can get pretty wild. So I added in some really nice looking, I like it, the melon color, like an orange color. Maybe I'll add in a darker orange here. So tulips are out now. Oh, love tulips, and it's kind of about the layering. I like that. That looks good. And then I'm going to add in some dark green. So you want to make sure you're always looking at the values, the darks and lights, what's popping out. Erica, how is this coming out now? Does it look like a painting? So here's something that's finished. And here's something that's in the stages of being finished. Do you see how I'm working towards that? And it takes some time to do it. But I wanted to be able to show you today how the thoughts start from your sketchbook and then move on to a canvas. And I interpreted two different ways where I made one large and one small. And I'll keep doing it over and over again. So let me just show you, for instance. The other thing you can do is, I'll just introduce this now. I want to make sure I don't forget. Is suppose I don't want to do the whole painting. Where am I? And I want to just do a small area. So if there were tulips here, perhaps I just do a small painting of just tulips, right? And this is a 6x6, and this doesn't take a long time, right? And you always put, like, let's say the date or what have you on the background. And then the time of the year. So this is spring, right? Because it's tulips. And now this is fall. You have your sunflowers. So you can take your landscape and make it smaller just according to what the season is. This one, I took an old canvas and I just painted over it and left a little bit of the colors in between. So this one's wildflowers, right? So same idea. Layering nice, thick, juicy colors on, and then just getting your design in. Let me see a little bit more. So how do you know when the painting is done? Well, it's done when you feel it's done. But I usually like to let it sit for a couple of days. So now maybe in this stage, if I'm coming, oh, don't get on the studio, Lisa. Becoming impatient, I might want to just stain the canvas because I want to see where it's going to go with all this green. And like I said to you, my technique is about leaving a little bit of the color underneath. For this year, every year I change my style. I think if you've been following me here at the studio, I brought in a painting where I did a whole black series of only working on black canvas. So every year I change it up. I like variety as well. So I'm just coming in here deciding what I like, what I need to feel that needs to be merged. This is why the brush is so long. So you don't get all bent into it. You need to have that distance. Watercolor brushes are short. I want to like finish this spot right here before I end with you guys. What color would I make that, Lisa? So yes, so I talk a lot to myself in the studio. Yeah, I do. I'm going to say that I would like to make this like a light pink. And guess what? If I put the color on and it looks terrible, I can take it off. And watercolor, you could do that too. You just have to do it quickly. Let's see. Is this rose color working here? A little bit. These were actually roses here. So I think I'm going to... So this is a phthalo red that I have on my palette here. And I'm just hitting this with a little bit of color. I do like the red here. I like the pink here better than here. Remember we talked about like makeup? I mean, not that you're going to put pink on your cheeks and pink on your, but, or let's say the color of what you're wearing on your shirt. You know, should you wear a long necklace or short necklace, right? So you decide that as you go along. Yeah, so I like this. The only thing is that these are the roses here, and then they have these tall flowers that I don't know what they're called, but I want to just do a group of pink here. So I like to do a lot of colors, and I'll show you one of the finished ones when I'm done. I'm all about color pop. So what color are you going to put back there, Lisa? Well, in the photograph, let's go back to the photo. Yes, these colors are not exactly these colors. I get it. It's fine. I'm the artist. I get to decide. Nah. You know, I'm going to decide what I want. Yeah, too bad. Too bad. I'm doing what I want. Look, if you can't have that in life, whatever. When you were a kid, you had to do whatever everybody else wanted to do. You're an adult now. You drove to this location. Do whatever the heck you want. I think we're very critical, but you know what you like. I mean, you have cameras now, and you can tell what looks good. All right, so I have to decide. I like that it has a lot of red in it. Alrighty. No, but what I would like to do is, okay, see? I'm going to put in, I have to decide, there we go, I made the decision. I wanted to do the lighter colors in the front and the darker in the back, because I didn't want it to be too, you don't want to look like, I don't know, you had too many drinks in between painting, you know? So I'm going to add, I decided I'm going to add in some white color here. Again, it's all interpretive. What is it? I don't know. I know it was there. I forget the name of this. I think they're hollyhocks. They grow in a upward. This is not a botanical painting. Botanical painting would be exactly a replica. It would say this time of the year, these flowers would not be together, blah, blah, blah. Like there's no sunflowers in this picture, although I'm sure somebody could put sunflowers in here if they wanted to. Look how pretty this is coming out. I like it. Let's step back. So this is a finished one. Let's see, where are we? Here. So this is not the same painting, okay? So here's 3 interpretations of the same location. 1, 2, 3. They all say Westbury Gardens, right? In their own way. Should I move this over? I want to move it over because I'm tired that it doesn't reach. So this way I can stand. Sorry, I know Mike's like, Lisa, where are you standing? Look, how fun. Yay, all 3. See. So it gives you an idea of my interpretation of, where am I? Over there. Oh, Westbury Gardens. Again, these both are 12 by 12 panels. This one I think is 12 by 24. One is not, you know, worse than the other. They're just 3 different interpretations, right? And that's what's really about for you, is how do you want to interpret the landscape around you? It's about getting outside and having fun. Go get a sketchbook, all right? Pick out something that speaks to you. A lot of times you'll pick something that's lightweight. Just get started. I leave the bag in my car. so that I'm always going to be in my to-go mode. You can leave your water bottle and your snack in there. Pick up a little pallet. They have small ones that you can travel with you. And that's it. And join a group. LisaFazioArtist.com. I'm always having meetups. You want to be around like-minded people who enjoy what you do. And we live in a beautiful location called Long Island. And there's Gold Coast homes everywhere. There's no excuse. Get out. Drive to the beach. Walk to the boardwalk. There's inspiration everywhere you look around. And look at the weather. And also endure the weather. If it looks like it's going to rain, grab the umbrella. You get some really great shots in the rain and in the puddles. And then hop on the train and go to Manhattan and do that as well. But whatever it is that you do, I hope that you just feel inspired to just go out and do it. There's never one way to do it, just the act of you getting out. They always say the wasted paint is the paint that's left in the tube, right? So get out and pour those paints and enjoy yourself. It's all good. It's all good. I hope you enjoyed the segment. Again, please follow me on social media, LisaFazioArtist.com, and I hope to see you soon. And thank you so much for North Shore TV for bringing me out here today. I appreciate it.